Well, let's take another look at the implications of cyber activities and the Nigerian democracy. We have Samson Itodo. He's an election development expert. He joins us from Abuja studios. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Let's ask right away your thoughts, the effects of the activities of the cyberspace, especially in our last elections.
Well, ours is a democracy that is actually advancing in its use and deployment of technology. Although hearing the president talk about technology and how it's been used to promote e-governance, and it to a large extent is deepened the transparency of our political process or governance process. But if you look at our electoral process, first, if you look at our voter registration process, it's technology driven, and that is why we use the biometric form of voter registration, as well as accreditation and the use of the smart card readers. So to a large extent, we're already deploying technology for our elections, and different parts of our electoral process seem to be automated. But the fundamental question to ask is, how do we continue to deploy technology to enhance the quality of our process? We talk about the smart card readers, for instance, and we can see from the last general elections where there have been questions on the use of the smart card readers and the data that it generates, and also the legality of that. So in Nigeria, we're grappling with an analog legal framework that is not compatible with the digital revolution that we're experiencing in Nigeria and across the world. And that's why the president didn't assent to the electoral amendment bill, because if he had done that, it would have conferred legality on the figures generated by the smart card reader. And so today, the smart card reader, to a large extent, does not have legality based on decisions taken by the Supreme Court. And so if we're talking about increased deployment of technology to enhance the quality of our process, then we must have a robust legal framework that responds to digital revolution. If you look at our democratic process, and in a couple of days we will be 20 years of democracy, look at how we have advanced. Today, because of technology and social media, we have decentralized the platforms for political socialization. And so social media platforms are now used to enlighten citizens and mobilize citizens on their voting rights, as well as how they can enforce their rights. You've also seen that technology and digital media has provided an opportunity for deliberation and debate. And these are the fundamental principles of democracy. That is why you continue to see the state actually ensuring and putting every effort in place to resist and regulate that space so that citizens are unable to ventilate their views as well as engage. And so there are very, very good potentials of social media and what it has in deepening our political process, although there may be some negative or the flip side, which is the propagation of fake news and misinformation, which we saw in the 2019 elections.
I must ask you, there have been the allegations of, hacking INEC's database, and some people have wondered if, there will be an opportunity for a full-blown digital revolution of the database when it comes to the Electoral Commission.
Well, yeah, there are reports about hacking of INEC's database. INEC needs to actually respond to that because these allegations have been made. To what extent is INEC complying with the standardization for all the technological tools that it's using? Because we know there are global standards or standardization or principles and due diligence checks that electoral commissions actually subscribe to before deploying every form of technology. Yes, you're definitely, and I say this, Millicent, what you see happening in the digital space is exactly a replication of what happens offline. Today, you've got e-togs, you've got election riggers who have translated that online. And so what INEC and the state needs to do is to begin to think about how do we ensure digital safety. And when the president talked about the potential of technology to actually enhance democracy, The president declined the digital rights bill that was transmitted to him a couple of weeks ago. And that was quite unfortunate. And I hope that as he talks about the potentials of technology for enhancing democracy, he would revisit his decision on the digital rights bill. Because what that bill seeks to do is to protect the digital rights and data privacy of citizens. Because we can't continue to talk about democracy and governance and the quality of our electoral process if we don't protect citizens. And our laws need to be in place to ensure that the rights of citizens are protected, as well as the institutions that deploy technology are doing so in compliance with the law. And
we'd like to thank you.
I am using the opportunity to call on the president to revisit his decision on the digital rights bill, which he declined assent to a couple of weeks ago.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on the program.